Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious Groove podcast and vinyl channel. Today we're going to have another opinion video, something that I definitely want to hear from you in the comments on, talking about streaming versus physical media, and not streaming versus vinyl, streaming versus all physical media, coming right up. So I figure a good way to start this video is to say that I am not the angry man yelling at people to get off of his lawn or the old man yelling at the clouds. I love streaming media. I think that if you would have told me when I was a kid, by the age that I'm at now, the advances that would have been made in streaming and how much media you could have with you at the touch of a button all the time, I would have been stunned and probably in disbelief. So for me, there's so many huge advantages of streaming that I don't hate it at all. And I want to make that clear up front, because when you're looking at a person who's sitting in this type of environment, you probably assume the video is going to be some sort of get off my lawn about streaming. Not at all the intent of this video whatsoever. For me, there's so many pluses to streaming that I never even dreamed of when I was a kid. I was that guy up until my early 30s, maybe late 20s for sure, who had hundreds of CDs available in my car at all times. I pretty much had the equivalent of this vinyl collection, but on CD. I would have those big, huge, 1, 2, 300 holder Case Logic cases with me pretty much wherever I went, with the idea being of the same thing as this collection. When someone said, oh, I love that song, I go, oh wait, I have it, and we can listen to it, or some sort of rare live show or hits package or whatever for the perfect CD for the road trip or whatever. And if you would have told me back then that eventually I'm going to have all of it on any sort of device, whether you want to say it's a media player or your phone or an iPod or whatever, that could hold all of that music and more in a tiny, 5-inch by 3-inch space, I would have told you you're crazy. So that's a huge advantage. Anybody who says that that's not an advantage, you're lying. You have to see the advantage in the ability. A friend of ours and a listener of the show actually used the phrase several lifetimes of music at our fingertips, and I couldn't agree more. It's amazing to have that much available all the time. And streaming does have its drawbacks and detractors. Spotify or iTunes definitely have their detractors. As of the shooting of this video, the base level for those in quality really isn't all that great. If you're an audiophile, for 90% of the listeners out there, the streaming quality that comes across is just fine. I know very few people who could probably tell you the difference between a baseline Spotify stream song and say MQA or high definition audio or something along those lines. So, but there are people out there who do listen more intently, and for them, I understand that that's a big detractor. But seemingly every week we keep hearing something about a new format, an improved codec, some sort of way, improved bandwidth even. It seems like every day they're finding ways to move bigger and bigger chunks of data faster, which would allow for less compression on whatever song is being streamed, and would allow for more of higher bandwidth to be processed in a smaller time. So I can definitely see that as being a plus. Some people can use it as a detractor, but I think overall it would end up being a plus. Another thing with streaming media is there is a lot of stuff available on streaming media that is not available either on vinyl or you can't find on CD anymore, up to and including live tracks and whatnot. Now you need a constant data connection for something like this, as opposed to a downloaded playlist or something. But if you're out and about and a live version of For Whom the Bell Tolls from San Diego in '89 or Mexico City in '91 crosses your mind, even if it's not available on Spotify or Tidal or something along those lines, you can bring up YouTube And most of the time, it's either going to be on the band's official channel, or someone will have uploaded the track, and you can hear it instantly, which is awesome. So you have access to a lot of stuff like that. Instant bootlegs and things. Concerts that happened that ended at 11 p.m. the night before. A lot of times there's audio or some video clips of it up the very next day. So, and to me, that all plays into pluses for streaming. As far as physical goes, obviously I'm the type of person that's just in love with the artwork and the physical aspect of media. I love just having any album to be able to grab that whole artwork and really look into all the liner notes and all those things, and just having the big 12-inch cover art. And even besides that, even if you go to CD, still there's tons of cool packaging still being done with CD, and has been over the years. A lot of those cool just special edition CDs are out there, but it's something that you hold, that you own, which I think is a huge thing. Another aspect of physical media that I think gets lost with streaming is folks paying more attention to the album as a whole. And I know these days albums are becoming less and less of a thing, completed pieces of work, which I understand because of the nature of streaming. But for me, there's tons of albums I've brought down here for the one or two hits that I know, and I've put the album on and listened to it in its entirety, and listened to a ton of songs that I never would have heard if I hadn't had access to that whole album, or knowing myself as I do, probably would have listened to the hits on streaming and just skipped past the songs I don't know, which a whole lot of people do. Another aspect of streaming that it can be a detractor that physical has over it by a long shot is once you buy the music, you own the music. I can think of two examples off the top of my head that make my case as far as that goes. One of which is the Guns N' Roses album Appetite for Destruction, and Use Your Illusion 1 for that matter. Every couple of years, there seems to be some sort of legal wranglings that happen between the GNR camp and the West Arkeen camp. The West Arkeen camp is the family of West Arkeen, who was a songwriter who helped write at least It's So Easy on Appetite for Destruction and The Garden on Use Your Illusion 1. And every so often when those two sides have had a fallout, if you go on Spotify and you look at those two albums, those two songs are just missing. And if you're a GNR fan, Welcome to the Jungle into It's So Easy into Night Train is, that's how that record starts. Not to mention the fact that It's So Easy is part of that whole piece of artwork. I've never come down here to pull Appetite for Destruction and had Welcome to the Jungle play and then just, 3 minutes of silence where It's So Easy was, because there's a legal dispute. Same thing with The Garden on Use Your Illusion 1. And then another one that's a current example as of the shooting of this video is Prince, The Gold Experience. That album has yet to be re-released on vinyl since Prince passed, and they've re-released tons of his catalog on vinyl. They have yet to do that one, and it's a pretty big omission. The reason why they haven't done that yet is because there's still an outstanding legal case involving the lead single off of that album, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which was one of Prince's biggest hits in the 90s. And there's an outstanding legal dispute regarding that song, so they can't re-release that entire work on vinyl. So again, I have a copy of that album on vinyl. I don't have any sort of legal disputes with it, and anytime I want to listen to that album, I listen to it straight through. Now, if you're saying to yourself, but I've seen The Gold Experience on streaming, you have, but you haven't seen the song The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. And as I said with Appetite, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World is part of the experience of the Gold Experience album, and it's done so poorly that if you go look up the Gold Experience on streaming, again, as of the shooting of this video, the prelude track that leads into the Most Beautiful Girl in the World is on the album, but then the song is missing. So there's a track to set up the fact that you're going to hear this song, then the song is missing, and then the album goes on from there. I never have that problem with physical media. So I think going forward, we're going to have a lot less of those issues with music being made, like since the time streaming became a thing. But there's a whole music history out there that I think is going to continue to run into issues like that, to where physical media definitely has a huge advantage over streaming, at least for the time being. Again, if you've seen my opinion videos before, this is not to showcase any one particular pressing or artist or anything. This is mostly just to get a conversation going. I'd like to know if you're watching this channel, you probably collect vinyl records, or you're at least passionate about music. I would like to know, what is your opinion on it? Are we eventually going to even end up to where physical media is not even an option anyways? Then what do we do? So if you haven't already, if this is your first video on the channel, hopefully this is the one that earned your subscription. So if you would, please hit the red subscription button down there. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give us a thumbs up, because that definitely helps the channel grow. But more so than those two things, make sure that you leave a comment below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of the points I made, and what's your personal opinion on streaming versus physical media. We greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I look forward to reading the comments, and I will definitely make sure to engage with everybody, and we can have a great discussion. Thanks for watching.